All right, welcome back to our revision class. I just finished my video on notifying us certain questions that are likely to come out in the UTME exam. And at this juncture, I would like that we go through 2023, all right, the year 2023, the past Jamb questions. Let's look at the questions and see if those topics discussed are actually posed before us in this question. So we're kicking off with the literature texts given to students to read. You would agree with me that as a student, you must read these texts. Do not tell someone to summarize it for you. No, it's wrong, entirely wrong. You must not tell someone to summarize the life changer. Whichever text you are given to read for your Jamb, do well to read it cover to cover, page to page, lines by line, line by line. Do not ask that the story be summarized. Reason being that questions could be asked from where someone did not give a deep analysis of. All right, so please, as much as you can, try to lay your hands on the text and do well to read it. So we're going to answer them. All right, with much I've read, I pray we are able to answer them correctly. So the questions is based on the Life Changer novel. Why was Umi shocked when she met the HOD? She was actually shocked because he is ugly, old and ugly. All right, so we move to question number 2, still on Life Changer. It says, what is the name of Honorable Habib's driver and closest friend? The name of Habib's driver and closest friend is Labaran. Yes. Okay, so still on Life Changer, it seems to have about 10 questions on Life Changer. So you have to get conversant with the structure of the question. That's another thing. So we should, I think, be saying about 10 questions from Life Changer. So the question still on Life Changer, Labaran is the Honorable's, obviously, driver. Okay, number 4. All right, it says, what compounded tally state of reticent nature? What compounded tally state of what? Reticent nature. And that's because of the death of his father and stepmother. The reason for his behavior, all right, is because of the death of the father and stepmother. Now, next question, that's question 5, says, why did Umi think her story won't be suitable to tell to her children? Why do you think so? Okay, it says she had a horrible experience growing up. She had regrets that she won't make her children to know about. Her life before marriage had always been one dreary things from another. She lived a complex life. Can't really remember, but I think she had regrets of her life. Right, says, what delicacy was sort of a staple food, as a food that students easily eat with ease among students, regardless of their gender, be it boy or girl. They easily cook it and they enjoy it. Is what they eat without being asked. I know everybody will go to Indomie Jollof. That's what it is there. Okay, the next question, we are coming to the end of it. It says, whose idea was it to pick Salma up at, so whose idea? It was Labyrinth. All right, I pray that we are getting it right. We'll check by the end of this. So the young man who engaged Salma while she and other students are with faculty registration happens to be the what? Happens to be the lecturer. Remember this. It happens to be the lecturer that engaged Salma. Question number 9 says, how did Tali's father and stepmother die? How did they die? In a car accident. They were murdered in a car accident. I hope I'm right about it. All right, so if I'm not right, don't feel it. That's why you have to read it more. All right, so the question is based on, that's the last. I told you 10 questions from your literature question. So you must have that at the back of your mind, that you are expecting 10 questions from the literature text. So you must read the text from the beginning to the end, because you don't know where you could possibly pick the questions from. So don't say I will read chapters 1 to 5 or I would read the last part. No, just read everything and get yourself acquainted with whatever that is there. So she was what? How old was she? How old was Omar when he gained admission into the university? 18 years. All right, so I think that's it. So we are moving on to the next. Obviously, from question number 11 should be based on another thing, and that's what? Lexis and structure. All right, so let's look at it. A friend living in St. Thomas recently. Let's see what the question is about. All right. This is question number 8. So we have to answer question number 8. It says, our best hope may be to stay kind to ourselves and others, to acknowledge that we will fray and break a little easier. That's obviously, that is part of life. There are times you will break and fray. You mustn't be bold at every time. So what happens? To hold these afflicted, to hold those rather afflicted by what? Is it those afflicted by division, those afflicted by catastrophe, chasm, or vacuum? Obviously, when you are afflicted by catastrophe, you are broken. So that is it. Catastrophe has to do with something bad happening to someone. So let's go to the next question. That's number 12. It says, though there exists no single dash for attaining work. We're looking at question 1. So we're going to question 1. Still on the Lexis and structure aspect. So let's look at question number 1. It said, no doubt, women are gradually taking their place in virtually every walk of life, be it medical, banking, aviation, military, paramilitary, journalism, engineering, to mention but few. Yes, it is inspiring to see the modern woman be empowered. Every modern woman wants to be what? Empowered. Obviously, cash. We all need money. So every woman wants to be what? Financially empowered. Once you're financially empowered, you can actually take care of your physical well-being. You can take care of marital well-being. You can take care of your economic well-being. So finance is key. So every modern woman wants to be financially empowered. Nobody wants to be dependent on anybody, especially the modern woman. I guess the reason for some crises we have in homes. All right, so let's move to the next question. It says, fill in the gap with the option that best completes the sentence. The option that best completes the sentence. I usually tell my students, instruction, keeping to instruction is very vital. Look at that best completes, meaning that the possibility for you to think that 1 or 2 or 3 options could fit into the sentence is possible. All right, is high. There is a possibility for me to say, oh, the 2 answers should go. This should be the answer. Oh, there is none that seem to match. No, there must be an answer. And that is why they use the word best completes. Now let's look at the question. It says, the secretary and treasurer did not do dash job. This is really tricky. It says the secretary and treasurer. I just wish you noticed what I just noticed. Now, there is something key here. You see, the sentence says the secretary and treasurer. If you're careful enough, you will see that there is no article used before the treasurer. No article used before the treasurer. It simply tells me that the very first article used before the secretary is obtainable for treasurer. That means the article serves the same for secretary and treasurer. It means one thing, that the secretary and treasurer, just one person. That's what it means. And this is a topic treated under Concord. Permit me to explain further. Now, when we talk about Concord in English language, it refers to agreement between the subject and the verb. That's what Concord is. And in essence, it's saying that the subject has to agree with the verb in a sentence. So normally the very first concord every teacher teaches you is the grammatical concord. We have over 11 types of concord, but the very first concord every teacher teaches, be it in primary school, secondary school, even university, is the grammatical concord. And what is grammatical concord? Grammatical concord is a type of concord that says that if the subject of the sentence is singular, the verb is singular, and if the subject of the sentence is plural, the verb is also plural. So if I have the girl, obviously I will use a singular verb, which is or was. The girl is beautiful. The girl was here. But if I have plural subjects, example, the girl and the boy, these are two different people. The girl and the boy becomes what? Are here. Are is a plural verb. Where is a plural verb. While are is a present plural verb, where is past plural verb. So that's grammatical concord. Now for this very question, we refer to it as double title concord. Double title concord is different from using and to join two different persons. Now double title concord is where an individual or a person is seen to function in two ways. Just the example we have with the secretary and treasurer. The very person, Mr. Jerry, is a secretary. Mr. Jerry is also the treasurer. All right, so the secretary and treasurer is different from the secretary and the treasurer. So if I have the secretary and the treasurer, these are two different persons. So it will attract a plural verb. But the secretary and the treasurer, it's an individual. So the answer is his. Why? It can be there because secretary and treasurer, they are just one person. The two titles are given to one person. It's not for two persons. So the answer is the treasurer, or rather the secretary and treasurer did not do his job. Now you can agree with me because there is no other pronoun used in these options apart from his and their. Now they use their to confuse one or two persons who may not be conversant with double title concord. Person thinks that the secretary and treasurer are two separate persons coming together by the use of the conjunction and. That's not what it is. So note it and learn to differentiate between double title concord and grammatical concord using and to join two persons functioning as the subject of the sentence. So his is the answer. It's not none of the above, it's not all of the above. All right, so let's move. I think I took so much time explaining this and I don't wish that anybody would fail it. Now there are other types of concord. If you'd want to know them, peradventure this is your first time of using this app and you want to know more about concord, you could actually check up one of my videos and watch it. All right, on concord. I've made a lesson on concord and you would definitely enjoy it. All right, number 4, let's move on. Fill each gap with the most appropriate option from the provided. Daly has been whistling dash the past 3 hours. For how long? You see, I've asked the question, for how long has he been whistling? So we are testing our ability of time, adverbial place of time. For how long has he been whistling? Since when? Had it been it's a different way? So it can be Daly has been whistling since the past 3 hours. No. For how long has he been doing that? He's been doing that for the past 3 hours. All right. So that's it. Number 15 says, in the following question, choose the option that best completes the sentence. The school's board approved a dash panel to screen the students. Dash panel to screen the students. These are compound words. And when you have a case of this, it's a 5-man panel. It's not a 5-man panel. It's not possessive. These are adjectives. This 5-man is functioning as an adjective, and adjectives don't take possessions. So if you have possessive adjectives, they are such adjectives as my, all right, our, your, his, her. But when it comes to compound words. No, you don't possess compound words for adjectives. So the 5-man panel is the right answer, not 5-man panel, because it's a descriptive word. All right, let's go to question 16. This is a comprehension passage. All right, so we are going to attempt the question. We have gone through the comprehension, so we are taking question number 1. The central idea of the above passage is what? Integrative medicine into our healthcare system. Integrative medicine into our healthcare system. Remember, that's the central idea. The central idea is the main thing that we want to take home from this passage. Integrative medicine. So that's the answer. It can be inferred from the passage that what? Integrative medicine focuses mainly on signs and symptoms. Integrative medicine has alternative diagnostic equipment that will help to detect early. That's it. That's what we can deduce. Let's go. All right, question. The next one says, the writer's comparison of curative and integrative medicine is what? Is juxtaposing, placing the two opposites, is analyzing the two medicine, the approach to medicine. Let's look at the next one. It says, according to the light of the passage, the following are some of the ways of fighting against pathogenic organisms except. How can we fight pathogenic medicine? We heard that it says dwelling mostly in positive mindset. Obviously, we have to exercise in a healthy way. It was mentioned. We are told to drink energy water. If we only rely on conventional medical doctors, we will obviously not do what? Fight against pathogenic organisms. Then the last and not the least, it says, what is the what? The most suitable title for the passage above. What do you think is the most suitable? The need for a shift in our healthcare system. That's it. The shift. All right. So let's move to number 21. Oh, we have 38. We have to run along. All right, so opposite in meaning, nearest in meaning. So choose the option nearest in meaning to the underlined word. And the word is what? Inevitable. Inevitable is a common word. You could be lucky a common word is given to you, but that notwithstanding, do well to still check in context. During Chief Coco's burial, the priest made mention that death is what? Inevitable. Something that is inevitable is unavoidable. 22. Pilfer. Have you heard of the word pilfer? I guess I got to know that word way back in secondary school. When they say you pilfer, that means you steal. So choose the option nearest in meaning. So a pilferer is a what? Is a thief, not a liar, not a hypocrite, not a criminal. 23. Terrifies. It says climbing great heights terrifies me. We are still looking at nearest in meaning. So it's what? Frightens me. It doesn't threaten you. It's not a human being. Humans threaten others. It doesn't annoy you. It's not an attitude that should annoy you. It doesn't shock you. Rather, it frightens you. It makes you get scared. That's it. So wholeheartedly, it's the underlined word. When you take something wholeheartedly, that's with the whole of you, the totality of you. That's wholeheartedly. So I don't like the head of department, but I agree completely with what he says. Yes, as much as I don't like him, but whatever he says, I agree absolutely, totally, completely. So these are synonymous words. So not willingly, not sparingly. So I agree totally with what he says. All right, so let's move to number 25. So here we have nearest in meaning to the handwriting typifies an unserious student. That means it shows. Do I have shows here? No. Negate means to speak against. Undermine means to reduce. Then you have exemplifies. That's what the answer. Exemplifies. That shows. That's the answer. Time will know. Then we'll have the judge blames the plaintiff for misleading the court. All right, we're looking for what? Opposite in meaning of the word plaintiff. Who is a plaintiff? The plaintiff is that one that comes to complain, right? So it's obviously not complainant. It can be the accused. So the defendant, I'm going for defendant. The defendant for misleading. Remember, we're looking at opposite in meaning. So we're moving to number 27. All right, that's 27. It says, choose the word opposite in meaning. He is notorious. When you say somebody is notorious, the person is loud in a negative way. That's what notorious means. So we also have people who are known for, they are notable for their good acts. So we refer to such people as renowned people. So that's the opposite of notable. Okay, so choose the option that is already is opposite to. The company experienced steady, that means they've been progressive in a good way, that's balanced. So if something is not balanced, that means it's unstable. When remember where the Bible said you're unstable with your words, that means you're not steady. Today is yes, tomorrow you're changing. So steady is what? Unstable. All right, we are moving. We are getting there. My uncle is a prosperous businessman. My aunt, unfortunately, is quite what? Someone is prosperous. That means the person is successful, is making it in life. All right, so the answer is what? Unsuccessful. Is the opposite in meaning to the word prosperous. Number 30. This should be the last under opposite in meaning. The Ministry of Education is making determined effort, that's serious effort, to do what? To eradicate examination malpractice. So if they are not making determined effort, they are rather making what? Yes, ineffective. It's not compulsory, it's not innocent, it's not unreliable. Reliable is unreliable. So determined here we have as what? Ineffective, something that will not yield result, but determined will yield result, while ineffective wouldn't yield result. All right, we are moving. All right, this is more like what we call, yes, vocabulary under words, possibly agriculture. Yes, vocabulary based on agriculture. All right, because we have insects here. He said, not all insects are dash. Here you are expected to have a knowledge on a particular field. That's why I say vocabulary in agriculture or any other field of study, could be biology or any other thing. So here it says, not all insects are dash, and amongst those which are the honey bees. Besides the honey, they dash. Okay, so let's go for the answer. Not all insects are necessary. No. Not all insects are useful. All right? Not obviously. Not all insects are useful. And they said, among those which are. So that means there are some which are. So we are going for useful. We can't go for harmful. All right? We can't go for harmless. Why? Because the subsequent sentence wouldn't actually go with the other options. Where we say not all insects are useful, so that means that there are some insects that are useful, and we know that the bee is actually useful. All right, so that's it. Some insects are harmful, so you can't go for not all insects are harmful, and amongst those which are no, not all insects are harmless among those. So we are going for the word useful is the best option for this. So besides the honey, they do what? Obviously, they produce honey. You see it? All right, so that's the answer. They don't invent. They're not human beings to invent. They don't deliver. They don't create. They're not God. So say besides the honey, they produce honey. That's what they do. In due time, you see them producing the honey. They perform an even important service. What's that even important service? By doing what? Yes, I know way back in secondary school when we learned Arabic, we learn of pollination of the flowers. So I know that is flower pollination. Remember, we are looking at the functions. They are important functions. Apart from the honey that they produce, they pollinate the what? The flowers. All right, 34. Or rather 38. The dash method of obtaining honey in African countries. Obviously, it has to be what? The traditional way. That's the traditional way. The way we do it, not the scientific way, not the modern way, not the technical way. Rather, the traditional method of obtaining honey in African countries is to allow wild bees to enter a what? They enter what we call what? Let's say shell, no. Cell, no. Yes, I will go for hive. They enter what? A hive, and then smoke out the bees with what? How do they smoke out the bees? With what? Smoke. They smoke it out with smoke. They don't do touch, they don't do heat, they don't do raise. They smoke it out with smoke. Yeah, I'm sure. All right, let's go to 37. What's that? Oh, another Lexis and structure. All right, so question 37. We are here again with a vocabulary on another field of study. And I guess looking at this, we could refer to aspect of the police, law, and yeah, I think so. So let's go through it. What we did in the B, that's the same thing we'll do here, choosing the appropriate option that fits into the sentence. So it says the dash has just completed his dash into a case of dash brought by a dash, but was undecided as to whether or not there was enough evidence to dash the dash. All right, okay, I think we should stop here because we have just 5 questions to take up from here. All right, so the dash has just completed his what? Obviously, it has to be an investigation. You complete an investigation. So I'm going for the policeman or the policeman. Yeah, the policeman. All right, let me go back to that 37 again. Oh, when it's policeman, it's giving me problem because I can't say the policeman has just completed his. So it should be policeman, or should I go for officer? I'm confused about this because of this. So for that, I will choose officer. The officer has just completed his dash, except this is not well typed. All right. So you must understand that. For me, I would want to go for the policeman has just completed his investigation, but I'm having policeman here, and that's the reason for choosing officer. Has just completed his investigation. I would go for the policeman, but because of the man, I'm not going to choose it because it doesn't sound okay. So the next is investigation, right, into a case of what? Assault. Assault, it's when it has to do with body. All right, so that's what I'm choosing. By a dash, by a complainant. Obviously, someone has come to complain of an assault. So that's all. All right, so this 37, I'm still not okay with it because it's an officer that will go about making an investigation. A policeman rather will go for investigation. But here I have policemen, so I'm caught up there, and that's why I'm going for officer. All right, so you must, I'm sure this sort of mistake wouldn't be made. I guess it could be a typographical error or something. So I'm going to 41 now. 41 says, choose the option that best explains the information. That's your idioms. I told you about idioms. And it says, with the instruction of crazy jeans in the market, most people seem to jump on the word bandwagon with the what? Introduction of, that means everybody wants to put on crazy jeans. They just want to, it's just everywhere. Wherever you go, you see what? Crazy jeans. So let's look at the options. That's what I do. When I see a particular idiom, I try to explain it in context before I go for my answer. So few people wear crazy jeans, obviously no, because it says with the introduction of crazy jeans in the market, most people seem to jump on the bandwagon. That means they want to be involved in it, they want to put it on. So a lot of people are against crazy jeans trend. No, it says crazy jeans are worn by a large, obviously, number of persons. Crazy jean trend didn't last. No, so I'm going for option C. Red. That's the interpretation of the idiom. It has a fixed meaning. Idioms have fixed meanings. I said it earlier when I was making a short video. All right, so from the list of words, it's the choose one that has best describes the sentence. I had dinner with Tony and Nick, and they talked shop rather the whole time. I had dinner with Tony and Nick, and they talked shop. I think I've come across this idiom before while reading a book. When you talk about talking shop, it means they talked about business. Yes, they talked about business. So they talked shop the whole time. This means that they talked, all right, let me see the options. They talked about buying things from the shop. No. So don't allow, because they talked shop, you feel it has to do with buying things. Most idioms don't. The answers are not as they appear. You don't get the answer of an idiom based on peripheral or surface knowledge. No. You don't look at the literal meaning. No. Rather, you go deeper. All right. So they talked about, they talked about their job. They talked all time about taking me to shop. No. The option A and option D are way out of it. So the answer is they talked about their job. All right, so I'm going to the next one, which says when asked to state her side of the story, Bumi started beating about the bush. Beating about the bush is more or less an way old idiom. So I guess everybody should actually know what it means to beat about the bush. When you're beating about the bush, you're saying something as it is not. You're not going straight to the point. You're just, meandering. Yes, you don't go straight to the point. You keep playing around. Yeah, so when somebody tells you you're beating about the bush, it means you're playing around. You are not going straight to what the problem is. So it says, when asked to state her side of the story, Bumi started beating about the bush. This means that Bumi went straight to the point. No. Was lost in great thought. No. Followed a bush path. No. So approach the subject without coming to the point. That's the answer. To beat around the bush, or to beat around. You are not doing anything. You are not achieving anything. You're not going straight to the point. All right. This is number 44. We have more than enough. All right. So the principal warned us against burning the candles at both sides. I remember we once had this idiom that says to burn the midnight what? Candle. So burning midnight candle means staying awake to study, isn't it? So but here it says the principal warned us. I think I'm seeing this idiom for the first time. The principal warned us against burning the candles at both sides. Obviously, you know what it will entail. When you burn the candle at both sides, it wouldn't actually make sense. It would be destructive. You will not get the most usefulness of it. So it's actually a wrong thing to burn the candle on both sides. Now then again, look at what happens. Remember, when you look at the nature of a candle, it has a trade where obviously you have to light it on, sort of. So the other part obviously is a plain surface without the trade portraying out of it, right? So that means when you're trying to burn the candle on both sides, you're actually giving yourself more than stress. You will not give out your very best. You're giving yourself so much stress. So let's look at the options. I've just analyzed it with my understanding of the contextual use. So it says being careless with candles. No, I don't think that's what it is. It's not about being careless with candles. Remember, the sentence says the principal warned us against burning the candles at both sides. I can't be careless with candles. All right, so when he said he warned us, that means he's cautioning us about something that will affect us. So it has to do, I will go for option B, wearing ourselves out. All right, because you wear yourself out when you burn the candle, you're giving yourself excess work or stress on a particular thing. So let's look at question 45. In the question below, choose the most appropriate option nearest in meaning to the word, words, or phrases underlined. All right, Biola decided to give the task everything he had. When you give everything, that means you're giving your totality. It's just like when we looked at that particular question that talked about wholeheartedly. So you give everything means you give your totality. So he says it's what? Biola decided to give the task complete what? Attention. So I'm going for complete attention, not complete attendance. No, you give it complete attention. Identify the option with a different stress pattern. I mentioned the stress pattern quite hard, but we could actually get an answer to it. All right, so this is it. I did mention that I pray we'll get this. All right, okay, so I did mention that certain words, I told you 2-syllable words are most often given, and obviously these are 2-syllable words: recite, response, receipt, reckon. Now look at this. Remember what I told us, that if we don't want to begin to indicate if it's a verb word or a noun, so that I'll know if I'm stressing on the second syllable or the first syllable, the next thing to do is to look at the syllable that has a long stress. And I know that words with EI within a word, IE within a word, they always have the long E sound. And that's why I would choose receipt. So the second syllable is stressed. But these ones, this pants is a short sound. Respect is stressed here. Response. Response. This one is what? Reckon. This O has a short O sound. Short O sound. Then this is a diphthong. Recite. So the stress is on the first syllable. So for option A, B, and D, the stress, with my knowledge, it's on the first syllable, while option C, the stress on the second syllable because of EI. I told you that words with EI within a word most often have the what? The E sound. And I told us that stress most times, the primary stress is given to that syllable with a long sound. Remember, we have the short sound and the long sound. So let's continue. All right, look at this. It says choose the word that has a different stress pattern. Now, they have given us a leeway. This, for me, is what I call an avenue to actually get my answer, because I told us that verb words are stressed on the second syllable. So option A and option B are basically stressed on the word second syllable. Project, 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 project. Suspect, project, project, project. That's the noun form. All right, so neglect, 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 that's the verb, is stressed on the second syllable. But this is what? Basic, 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 basic is stressed on the first syllable, while others are stressed on the second syllable because E is a short syllable. Basic, 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 basic. All right, so it's stressed on the first syllable. Now let's look at this word. Identify the option that has a different stress pattern. Which one has a different stress pattern? This is another one. Now, you are within a word has this a vomiting sound, and it's a long vowel sound. Now look at these other ones. Local, local, there's a schwa sound. Curl, curl. So it's obviously not going to be, sorry, this is stressed on the second syllable. This is what? Local, local, local. So it's the schwa sound. This also river, river, river is stressed on the first. Country, country, not country, country. No, it's country, country, country. Stressed on the second, stressed on the second, stressed on the second. Why? Pursue, pursue is stressed on the first syllable. This is a local, short is stressed on the second. River, river, stressed on the second. Country, country, stressed on the second. While pursue, pursue is stressed on the first syllable. We could actually use our dictionary to find out later, more or less, when we see the answers too. All right, now this is the vowel sounds. Vowel sounds. Choose the option that has the same vowel sound as the one represented by the letters on the line. 2 letters are underlined, so that's mood, and that's the long oo sound. Now let's look at these options. Took is short oo sound. Look is short U sound. Moon is a long sound. While this is a mode, it has a diphthong. It's different entirely from the first two options. So we are moving. Right, still on the vowel sounds, we have the next question, and that's to choose the option that has a different vowel sound from the underlined. Okay, sorry, from the others. We have to choose the option that has a different vowel sound from the others. Now we have to pronounce the others, all the options rather, and identify the one with a different vowel sound. Now we have option A, which is CT. All right, CT, that's the E sound, long E sound. Big, big, that's short. Busy, short. England, short. So I'm going for CT. CT. There's a long E sound while others have short E sound. Next is what? Choose the option that has the same vowel sound as the one represented by the letter or letters underlined. That's people. EO word. All right. EO, letters, word with EO within a word bear the long E sound. So we're going to pronounce all the words. So while I pronounce all the words, listen attentively and possibly will identify the answer. The first one is key. All right, that's key. Second one is leopard. Leopard, not leopard. So don't say because you have EO in people and you have EO in leopard that it's obvious that will be the answer. No. Remember we said you don't look at the physical appearance and judge. No, you have to pronounce. We are looking at sounds, and as such, you need to pronounce the word to identify the one that has the right and sound. So we've pronounced the underlined word, or rather letters, and we said it's people. So the first option is key, not quay. It's pronounced as key. The second option is not leopard. All right, it's leopard. Then the third option C is Sean, and option D is peep. That's a short E sound. Or we have is a long E sound for people, and the answer is key. All right, let's move to the next one. Choose the word that has the same consonant sound as the one in brackets. The one that has the same consonant sound as the one in brackets. What's that letter? That's letter S. But at the point of pronunciation, let's see if it retains S. That's S as sound should be S. So let's see if we have S or Z. So that's lose. I would like to clear three things yet. And that's L-O-S-E, L-O-O-S-E, and L-O-S-S. So L-O-S-E is lose. The S changes to Z. L-O-O-S-E is what? Loose. That's S. The S is retained. While L-O-S-S is also what? Loss. The pronunciations are different. But for L-O-O-S-E and L-O-S-S, the S in each of them is retained. While the S in L-O-S-E, all right, is what? Not retained. It changes to Z. So look at it. Option A is obviously not an answer with the analysis we've given. Option B is not an answer because seal is S, not Z. We're looking for that option that has Z, not S. So option C is what? The noun form of R-E-F-U-S-E. The verb is what? Refuse. Refuse. That's Z. I refuse to do it. Why the noun form of R-E-F-U-S is what? Refuse. 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 What you dispose when you feel you have packed a whole lot of, debts. That's your refuse. Refuse is still S. That's the noun form. So the option D says phones. That's Z. And that's the answer. Phones. Phones. Right? So that's it. So we're moving. 53. We are getting there. In each of the questions, choose the option that has the same consonant sound as the one represented by the letters. Which one has the same consonant sound? People find it difficult with the TH, audible TH. I call it audible TH and silent TH. The audible TH is where you have D written in a funny way and, a stroke on the top of it. That's the audible TH. The. While the silent TH, it's written in mathematics what they call theta. That's where you use your upper and your lower teeth to hold your tongue at the point of pronunciation. So when you have TH in a word, you should be thinking of the or why there are exceptions. There are some words with TH, especially names, that don't sound as or the, rather they sound as T. Example, Thomas. It's not Thomas. Rather is what? Thomas. All right. So that's it. So we have the word healthy. 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 Not healthy or healthy. No, healthy. That means I'm holding my tongue with my upper and my lower teeth. So let's pronounce. This is father. The. That's the audible TH. This is what? Path. Healthy. Path. Healthy. Path. You see that they sound alike. Why this is day. Day sounds like father. Day, father. That also sounds like they and sounds like father. Now there is an involvement of your, what do I call it? Alveolar ridge at the point of articulating words with the audible TH. The flat part of the tongue hits the alveolar at the point of articulation or pronunciation of these words. But when it comes to healthy, you see that the tip of the tongue is held by the upper and the lower teeth. All right? Thank you. So you should know that. I need you to always differentiate between the two. So the answer here is what? Path. 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 Healthy. Path. Healthy. Just like tooth. Tooth. Teeth. Tooth. Teeth. These are silent TH. Now we'll go to 54. 54, okay, we have another silent TH again. Path. Path has come up again. The answer is what? Warmth. Warmth. It is not there. This word SMOOTH is not smooth. It's smooth. Smooth. Like where you have your smoothie. Smooth. 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 All right? Not smooth. It's not a silent TH. Then we have choose the word that has the same rhyme. We've come to rhyme. Remember I told us when I was doing my short video on possible questions or rather topics that would come out in UTME, English UTME. I did mention rhymes and I told us that in identifying the word that has the same rhyme as the other, we start from the back of a very word. Now we have the word watch. And you will agree with me that the first three options end with ch, 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 ch. So what do? I need to move a step further by considering the next sound or the next letter. If the next letter after ch sounds same with the given word, then that option that has the same sound is the answer. Now let's look at these options. Remember, we're looking at the word watch. Arch, 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 arch. Now we have match and we have catch. So obviously the answer is what? Botch. All right. So that's how it's done. Rhyme. I told you start from the end of the word, then you keep moving until you get to the last. I did make mention of that. So now I have a case of three options having the same end rhymes. Does it now mean that the three options are the answer? No. Or does it mean none of the above? No. You need to move a step forward. What about this letter O? It's possible for O to have the same rhyme as A. So the sound is what? O. And that's what it is. Botch, watch, or sound. The only difference is the starting letters. All right, so that's that. Let's look at another sound. Now look at this word, say. We are to get the word that has the same rhyme as the word say. Say, not say. No. That was why I said you must learn the pronunciation of certain words if you must get rhymes correctly. So the word is pronounced as say. Now let me clear something. S-A-I-D is said. S-A-I-D. Who said it? All right. Then S-A-Y is say, say. It has a diphthong, E and E. E and E, it glides from A to E. Say. Can you say it again? Can you say it again? Not can you say it again? No. There is nothing. Where is the place of the Y? That means you threw away the Y. The Y isn't silent. A has E, Y has E. So the A and Y has A. So say. So let's look at the options. This is treason. Obviously, there is no rhyme here because I told you rhyme is from the back. So the word, the first option ends with N. So I don't need to even bother myself considering it. Now I have another option, D, ends with W. And in fact, when a word ends with W, it's not pronounced as W. It's either pronounced as ow, as in where you have bow, B-O-W, or it can be pronounced as L, bow, or it is pronounced as or oo. All right, so the W, the option D is out of it, option D is out of it, option A is out of it. Now let's look at option C, fright. It ends with T and the T is pronounced, so it's out of it. So I'm looking at option B, which is what? Weigh. Can you weigh your options? Can you weigh your options? Can you say, weigh, say, weigh? So you see that they rhyme alike, all right? They sound alike, they are rhymes. The only difference here is what? The S and the W. All other words, though not the same letters, but at the point of pronunciation, they sound alike. That brings us to a very important point. A word must not rhyme with another by virtue of the spellings. No. That the question before this one had the same spellings or the same letters and they had the same rhyme doesn't necessarily mean that all words must go that way. Reason for this kind of question coming before us. So you see that we have AY, and here the option we are choosing as the answer doesn't have A in it, doesn't have Y in it, but they have the same sound. That being said, let us not make mistakes to look at letters and conclude that because this letter has the same spelling with the other, that will be the answer. No, it can actually be so. If I had the word S-A-Y and way wasn't here, but they brought W-A-Y, that's way, is the same pronunciation. But there are some words that will be brought that has Y and it wouldn't, A-Y, and it wouldn't have the same sound. So we must be careful when it comes to that. So the answer is what? B, way. So let's look at 57. 57 has T-O-Y. We are still looking at rhymes. T-O-Y is what? Toy, toy, toy. So we are moving. Remember, we have seen toy. Which word has the same sound as it within it? And that is what? Foil, 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 O-Y, O-Y. This is turn, this is take, this is tore. So there is no diphthong in all of these sounds apart from foil, which has the same sound as oil in it. All right, so the last but not the least on the rhyme, because the questions are usually three, it's the word toy. All right, so with the word toy, we will look out for the option that has the same sound with oil. And while looking at these options, option A is ton, all right, and that's a single sound, long single sound, while the word given to us has a diphthong, all right, O and E, and that's oil. So option B is take, which doesn't have oil, but option C seems to me to be the one with that same sound, and that's the foil, 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 toy, foil. So it's there. While this is what? Tour, tour. This is or sound, to go on tour. All right, so the answer is foil. So we're moving to question 58. Obviously, we are approaching the end of this exercise. Now, this is emphatic stress. Emphatic stress. This actually will give you a calming effect. Reason being that you should actually be sure that these three questions you would definitely get them. While in my video on possible topics that are asked frequently, I did mention emphatic stress, and I said while talking on emphatic stress that it's the easiest of all questions posed under oral English. Reason being that it doesn't take a whole lot of thinking to identify the answer or to know the answer. Now it's as easy as this. Now you look at the sentence, the driver has taken John away, and you identify that a very word is capitalized or written in bold letters, and that word is the driver. Now go to the options, look out for the option that doesn't have driver in it. That option without the driver, it's the answer. And as it is, option B is the answer. Option A says, whom did the driver take away? Option C says, what did the driver do? Option D says, where did the driver take John? So who took John away is the answer. So we're moving to 59. Now look at the word always is written in bold letters, and that's the word I'm concerned about. All others, I don't have business with them. So I'm going to look out for the option that doesn't have always in it. All right, option A says, is Aban always late to bed? Is Olu always late to school? Is Aban seldom, that's sometimes, seldom late to school? Is Aban always early to school? So the answer is what? Seldom. Sometimes it could be the opposite of a given word. Why sometimes you don't see the opposite of a given word at all, just like the first example. Now the last but not the least, Eagles. The Eagles won the match. Now which option does not have eagle in it? Option D. Option A says, what did the Eagles win? Option B says, did the Eagles lose the match? Option C says, did the Eagles win the match? And option D says what? Who won the match? And that's the last option. I am positive that when you do a thorough self-study of all the past questions, I am sure that you would not have problems attempting questions in English. Bye.